I thank you very much, John, for the introduction and also for the invitation to participate in this webinar from the GloFouling project partnership. It's an honor to be part of this project. And today I will talk about the risk of the dissemination of the non-indigenous orange cup coral from ship hulls and oil gas platform in the Southwest Atlantic. So we know that biofouling pathways is related with several activity in the sea. Among them, we can show the offshore oil gas, aquaculture, fishing, ocean renewable energy, shipping, port and marines, technology developer, recreational boating, seabed mining. So we have a lot of vector that could transfer biofouling species and together with the biofouling species, the invasive species. Here we have some of examples of the bio-invasive species, and I would call the attention for the orange cup coral. That would be the subject of our presentation. This species has one of main of the species distribution all over the world. The Tubastrea coccinea, the most common orange cup coral species. And one question that we always make is why orange cup coral became a problem in Brazil? Because we don't have a record track of the problem relating other countries that exist. This species is known as an invasive species in Brazil, also in Florida, but call the attention, they emphasize that we in Brazil, especially, are giving for this species as a big problem in this invasive species. And maybe one of the reasons is when the species was known, there was a lot of propaganda about the potential ability of this species to overcompete, to destroy the community, the rock shore community, the reef community. So in the media, in the newspaper, in the TV, there was a lot of call for a killer coral that should be avoided. So that might create a very big atmosphere for the public, also for the regulator, for everybody in sea. But this species has first been shown occur in 1980s. Some colony of the orange cup coral were registered in the offshore oil platform in Campos Basin in the north of Rio de Janeiro state. And especially during the following years, the precautionary principle was the main argument used as a legal approach to action against oil and gas companies as responsible for the dispersion and the damage caused by the sun coral in the natural environment. The reason was the species was the first observed in this area. Followed 1980, they started to be observed in other areas also, but since it was first observed in the one platform, they related that the platform was the main factor the dispersal of this species. However, the scientific evidence for the environmental impact of the orange cup coral was weak and concentrated just one region in the Ilha Grande Bay state of Rio de Janeiro. In addition, also, there was the inappropriate use of the small hammer for eradicate program ended up to increase the density of this species in this region. So after 40 years of the first record of orange cup coral in the Southwest Atlantic, what we really know about that? Well, the experimental evidence of the impact of orange cup cup coral in the native species are punctual, restricted to a small period of time, and concentrated in a few places and species. On the other hand, recent study has shown that some native species can compete and overgrow the orange cup coral. Also, we have some evidence that even other invasive species can also overcompete the orange cup coral. We don't have evidence of the significant impact of the orange cup coral in the fishing. Reduction of plankton has been called this possibility, and also social economic impact. There is no study done about its social economic impact. So most of this aspect has been using the precautionary principle as a strong argument, and in the part that don't have scientific strong argument to show the impact, they have the potential of the impact. That's the case of the plankton, that always they are mentioned that there is an impact of the plankton because of the filtration system of the orange cup coral. The problem with that is concentrate in the orange cup coral, we don't see the other species that might occur in the area, in the Brazilian coast, and that can be much more impact in the system, the ecosystem, the coastal ecosystem, than even the sun coral. For instance, we just reported the Asian green mussel Perna viridis in the Rio de Janeiro state, in the Guanabara Bay, and we know that is a very dangerous species, as also a Cydia species, a non-indigenous marine yellowish colonial Cydia that also was first reported recently. This species is similar in terms of function of the Didenium vexillum, that is a very aggressive biofouling species that is spun over the surface like a carpet, very difficult to eradicate. We have several examples, there are a lot of money spent, several attended, especially in marinas. There is a very strong impact in economic aspect in aquaculture. So our species is very similar with that. We don't know yet which species are. We are doing some study to define it, but they should give a lot of attention for that, not only for the sun coral. In terms of the traffic that we have, we know that in Brazil, 95% of the international traffic are done by the sea. We have, from the registration unit in the Navy, we have about, in 2018, 455,000 of the vessel register. Just to compare, you can see that this is just much more amount of the vessel than we have like in proper drilling and the stationary, 145 stationary production and 400 vessels. So the point is, we do have part of the industry, the maritime industry, that represent, like we can see here, less than 1% of the vessel along the Brazilian coast, and they are concentrated now as a main cause of the vector transference of the dispersion of the sun coral. The problem is, if we only control the oil and gas company, we will keep open several other activities the maritime activity that will represent a large amount of potential transfer of species without any control. So we will not help you to have only one sector of the control and not the other one, like for instance, recreational boat, for example. Also, in the recent year, we have observed a new strategy of the natural dispersal of the orange cup coral. We know that Tubastraea Coutinho, for instance, can release from 80 to 300 larvae centimeters per year. You know that the pelagic metamorphotic aggregation could increase the dispersion capacity. We know that asexual reproduction has a major role in this species, and also a very high capacity of the regeneration of fragments. This has implication about we call a small hammer that was in the beginning used to try to eradicate the orange cup coral and probably create more problem or more dispersion than really eradicate. So these new finds show that the natural dispersal can be a very effective way to transfer the orange cup coral in the Brazilian coast. And not only the vector that I showed before, but also the natural dispersion can help. So what to do with that? So first we have a guideline for the control, the management of ship biofouling to minimize transfer of invasive aquatic species. It's a 2011 guideline that has been revised now for the correspondent group, and I think the next month will be a final revision. Also, we have a guideline for transfer in recreational craft. So the two guidelines should be used as a major reference to the control of this species. Also, we have a problem with the in-water cleaning because there is some agency that require the in-water cleaning, but we know that the professional diver clean is done by manually, but there are problems related with the biological risk, contamination, and human risk in this activity. So a lot of technology has been developed now, especially in remotely operated vehicle, ROV, that will capture these wastes when you clean up a hull, for instance. But new methods are being devised. So if you oblige some company to clean up the hull of from the species, you might create an additional problem especially related with the valuable organism in the water. There is several examples that, for instance, Petrobras has been using based on the 2011 guideline to mitigate the impact of the species in general, the invasive species, for the new product that they have, a new platform. All the platform has to be painted by anti-fouling. If coming from abroad, the hull have to be cleaned before leaving toward Brazil. In Brazil, they have, if you stay in the shipyard, they have to hold the grooming before leaving for the oil production. The drilling rigs also, like the platform, has to be cleaned before arriving in Brazil. They have to make inspection, especially for the RS Cup before leaving especially for the North region, because we don't have in natural environment documentation for the North region. In Brazil also, they have to keep observe the cup coral in the marine basin with the record, and the support vessel has to need to have the anti-fouling paint. Also, if they come from abroad, they have to be cleaned before the operation. And the oil and gas tanks, they have to paint the hull with the anti-fouling and especially adapt the biofouling management planning according to the IMO guidelines. So this best practice should be used for all the companies, and the other activities should go for this idea to have a best practice. Call the attention also a recent letter to science about the possibility to display more than 1,000 artificial reefs along the Brazilian coast, especially in the northeast coast. And of course, this can be a big problem because this artificial reef can be used as artificial stepping stone, and in this case, to increase the dispersion of this, specifically the orange cup coral, but any other species. Also, it's important that in the future, near future, we're going to have the commissioning of the platform, and the study are being doing now how this could be done in relation with the orange cup coral to assess the risk of the spread from this structure. And we can see here that the risk will increase towards the coast, of course, and but it depends on the depth, and this depth relates with a temperature below 12 degrees. We will not have more risk of the presence of this coral, and this is related also with the possibility to have this as a step stone. So, final remarks. If we need to have, I'd say, a take-home message, I would say that we should, all the plan for prevention, education, control, monitoring invasive exotic species should prioritize on early detection and rapid response of all the species, and not only the orange cup coral. That is a big problem. I showed the Acidia case. We have a residual there. We have called the regulator about the occurrence of this species, but nothing was done early as a response for the presence of this species. At the national strategy for the invasive biofouling control also should focus in all the other maritime industry, and not only in the oil and gas company, using as a reference the 2011 guideline of biofouling from IMO. Well, I think this is what I would like to say for now. Thank you very much, obrigado, and I'll be